Welcome to the small town of Hollyville. My name is Lainey, and I'm here to show you the ropes. Looking around is pretty easy. You can use the right mouse or the keyboard's cursor, or you can also zoom in and out using the mouse wheel. In front of you, there is a small grid upon which you can place. Those buildings are determined by a series of cards. Let's draw some now and get that will do nicely. At the top here is the next card in your build list. It's a school, pretty useful. On the card is a small 3x3 grid with a building icon in the middle. This displays the building's effect on its adjacent tile. Blue squares represent +1 point, so the school will give +1 points to the tiles immediately adjacent to it. With a card selected, you can now place it. Notice how the blue highlights represent the area effect as displayed on the card. Let's put the school here. You'll notice there are now some plus score markers on the empty tiles that were affected by the school. If we place point-collecting buildings on those positive scoring tiles, we'll get points. It just so happens the next card in your build list is a houses card. By far the most common point-collecting building. Notice how it tells you on the card if the building collects points or not. So let's get some points. Great! We now have 1 point due to the combination of the school's area effect and the house. We have a target to reach for each column. Currently, that target is 2. You can see your current target right here in the top. In order to fulfill that target for each column, we need to use a combination of buildings that affect their surroundings. Next up, we have a car wash. This card also has some red squares, which means it will have a negative effect on those, but crucially, it has positive effects in the places we need right now to bring our house up to 2. Select and place the car wash so that our house is given. We now have 2 points in the first column thanks to our house, school, and car. Also notice how the red negative area effect from the car wash canceled out one of the points from the school. Now the first column is complete. Look. See that? The column has been cleared. That means you bank the points from that column, which are then multiplied and added to your total. It also means you get a new empty column to build in here on the right. The immediate aim of the game is always to clear the first column, but you'll have to plan ahead with your building placements in order to do that. Those are the basics. But let me show you what happens if you forget to place a point collecting building. Fill this column with the following non-point collecting buildings. If any building area effects spill off the side of the grid, they will have no effect. You can use this to your advantage sometime. Now we have no point collecting buildings in this column. This will likely happen to you sometimes, but just to be clear, it's something you want to try and avoid. And not just because we have a brewery and factory with no means of collecting points, this column cannot reach its. Therefore, it's just going to sit there while we fill up the rest of the empty land. We need to force. Once the first column is filled, you'll notice this little button flashing at you. All we have to do is click it. However, force clearing isn't free, it costs you 1 life. You can see how many lives you have left here. Make sure you use your lives sparingly. Once you run out, you'll now see if you can complete past this column here using the next batch of buildings. for the next challenge. Since you did such a good job at Hollyville, well, apart from the whole, I've hired you. You know what to do. You now have 2 times as many build slots. Oh, I've also this.